good, everybody? It's your main girl with the curls, Mel, back at it again with a routine review to share with all of you. We are going to be doing the wash now, style later technique, which is a styling routine coined by Curly Fit Mom on Instagram. She's an adorable creator, and I've seen a lot of wavies and curlies adopt this technique, but how is it gonna work for someone with curly or even coilier textures? The reason I have put off doing this video for quite a long time is because I'm quite a skeptic of this technique, only because I love hair science, and the science says, well, that's something that we can get into. As a professional stylist and over the many years of studying and practicing on all types of textures of hair, I am well aware that there are some techniques that work better for some than others. So together we're gonna try this out and see if this is going to work for you. The pros, the cons, alternatives, why one may wash now, style later, why you maybe shouldn't, and who this is going to work best for. Will it even be me? Let's see. Without further ado, keep on watching. See, now I was going to explain what wash now, style later is, but I just don't feel like doing it now. I'll do it after this. As you can see, even while I was towel drying, I keep my hair clipped up because the problem when you just let your hair air dry, and this is specifically for curlier and coilier textures, when you just let your hair air dry, it is going to be more prone to tangles, single strand knots, all these annoying things that we're gonna have to deal with later on. So I keep my hair in a clip so that it doesn't have the opportunity to get into an entanglement. You know what I mean? Anyways, this is now my hair. It's about 80% dry. The ends of my hair here, which are lighter, color treated, and more porous, are actually drying a lot faster than the healthier parts of my hair, or even compared to my counterparts. Miss Texture Tammy, her hair is healthy. It's going to retain more water compared to hair that has been color treated. Like you can see on Purple Patty, where her hair has been bleached and lightened is drying faster. Now, why is this even important? Well, I'm not gonna throw you like that. Part of that will come down to why you may want to wash now, style later. If your hair takes a very long time to dry, or even to wash, detangle, and do all of the things, getting all of that done in one session may be too overwhelming. Maybe you prefer to wash your hair at night for whatever reason, and styling then just leaves you with kind of wonky looking results in the morning. So this is the solution to that. You wash when you can, style when you get the chance, which we are going to do momentarily. Hello. Oh, did you think that we were going to start styling it? No. In true wash now, style later fashion, I'm about to go to bed. I have shampooed and conditioned and detangled as usual. Then I applied a little bit of a leave-in conditioner to my hair. Now that's going to be especially important if you have high porosity, dry, damaged, color-treated hair like I have. As you can see, my hair is majorly lacking in the shine department. And that's a me problem because at this point in my hair journey, all of my shine comes from my styling products. So until we get to that part of the routine, I do want to make sure that I am protecting my hair. The reason why we prep our hair for styling with things like leave-in conditioners, hair protectors such as heat protectants, serums, the reason why we apply these types of products is so that styling is made easier and more gentle on the hair fibers. But it's not just for styling, because even going about my daily life, even if I were to leave my hair in a bun, or like I'm about to, go to bed without a lot of protection on my hair, it is left vulnerable. She is just about as naked as she can be. So very quickly, I'm just gonna apply a night serum on my hair. I just got this one, it's new in PR. It's a strengthening overnight serum. So what better time to try this? Okay, mini review. I don't know how much I'm supposed to put, but I know my hair probably needs a lot. It smells like the Botanical Repair. It's delicious. It says apply to lengths and ends at bedtime. Do not rinse. In the morning, style as usual. Use as often as desired. This sounds like the perfect time. Okay, and now because my hair and scalp are completely dry, I'm just going to tuck my hair into the bonnet and then tuck myself into bed. If your hair is still a little wet, then I would leave it to roam free, air it out a little, and just sleep with it above your silk pillowcase. That would be the other preferred method, just so your scalp can breathe. Now that we've prepared and done just about the least, I will see you in the morning for styling. Good morning. Don't we love this natural lighting? So we're going to begin the styling. And I'm also going to be timing because, the point of this is hopefully that it also saves time. That would be a major benefit for me. So let's get styling. I'm going to try not to do too much talking. Actually, what I'm going to be doing is an experiment within this experiment. We're going to be styling. I wake up with an accent. I woke up with an accent. I'm also still depuffing. We're going to wet half of my head under the sink, as with the rest of the girls. Just because I know that's going to be a lot faster, and it's the lazy girl method to this technique. And on the other side, we're going to use a spray bottle, and I want to see how long it takes my hair to get wet and how much water we use. This is my spray bottle. It's all the way filled to the top. Let's see what we got under the hood. Okay, well, my hair still feels dry. This, if anyone asks, what does my hair look like? Basically no product, air dried, no styling. Glorious, isn't she? Anyways, the timer starts now. And let's explain why one may wash now, style later. As Danielle explains, it helps her intuitively style her hair. Because when you let it air dry, just without any product in it, you really get to see it in its natural state, and you can determine what it needs, in your routine, how you're going to be styling, what kind of treatments you may need to apply. So I think that's a really, really good point. It helps you style intuitively, which is something I always encourage. No one's routine is going to look exactly the same because everyone's hair is a little bit different, and this is going to help you get to know your hair. This specifically is going to take a little bit longer, but we're wetting. I'm going with the hair primer. This is the Eva NYC hair primer. This adds beautiful shine. It helps to detangle. It's got a bunch of benefits, and I'm needing that right now. Notice how I'm being extra gentle with my hair. It's very vulnerable, as I've said, but it's also tangly now. It's got tangles now, and having to go back in and re-brush through. I'm resisting the urge. I'm trying to just do it with my fingers, but I also like to brush style to define my curls. And so the fact that I have to do a lot of brushing again the day after I wash it's a lot. Not just to do, but also on my hair, which we can explain a little bit more later. I'm gonna just go for a volume routine. I'll share what I'm using. This is AG PLASTIQUE. The way this stuff reminds me of Gatorade. The smell is Gatorade, it's blue. And then it glides right over the hair. It's very slippery. I'm gonna style with the AG Recoil Curl Activator this morning. You can always try to determine how much product you need by feeling out the hair. Not squeezing it, just gathering it. It looks about right. Doing the lazy girl method. Just picks up some chunks, brush them. I'm not gonna have a lot of definition at the root, but you know what? That's gonna give me a lot of volume. So for gel, I'm going in with the Liquid Effects gel. Okay, this is damp. This is coffee. Very needed. And this is the sink. Applying more leave-in conditioner. I am using a bar. Okay, something I'm testing. But especially if you're rinsing, you are probably going to want to apply more leave-in conditioner at this point. If you are. That was 7 seconds under the sink versus this much pumping. So much water I used on one half of my head. Besides the time, you do sacrifice this and your rest. This side, you can hear it. It is more wet. Obviously, we dunked it under the sink, so I couldn't control how wet I got it as much as spraying. I'm going to use my mini scrunching towel just to kind of excess water and product. And this should all dry very quickly. I shall get diffusing, and I'll be back at you with the results. And I'm back. Hello! These are our damp sides versus this has to look creepy. This is weird. Why are we like this? The hair looks fabulous. But ultimately, let's evaluate the pros, the cons, and ultimately who I think this is for. This is coming from a hair care professional's perspective. The pros. It is time saving in the moment, because it's going to break up your wash day and detangling from the whole styling process. So if you find that the washing and detangling is enough for you, you don't have any energy to continue, then I mean you're cutting your wash day short, but your hair's not going to be done until you eventually do it. Styling afterwards, having to re-wet, then apply all the products, it's longer. It's going to be longer than if you do it, you know, right away. Now the other pros is that your hair can feel really fresh without product. Not me. My hair felt very dry and scary a little bit without the product, but if you're someone that's a little bit more wavy, just kind of having your hair clean and being fresh and, you know, being able to brush through it and not have anything in it can just probably feel very nice and relaxing and freeing. And back to the point that I mentioned before, it gives you a great chance to get to know your hair a little bit better, understand what it may need based on how it feels. That way you can treat your hair intuitively. So another pro. And finally, this is probably the biggest one, your hair is going to dry faster. I mean, unless you're soaking it right back down, because you're working from more of a damp stage than a soaking wet stage, and you're also probably not wetting your scalp. There's no need to sit there hover diffusing your scalp for a very long time. It's going to be a faster drying process. So that's a pro. The results styling soaking wet versus damp are going to be a little bit different because of how much water is in your hair while you are styling. If you want to see a full side-by-side comparison video of that and a full list of the pros and cons, I already have that up on the channel, so you can go check out if you want to learn more about damp styling versus wet styling. But to understand more of what the repercussions of doing this technique long-term may be, then keep listening. The cons. So here's where you should be wary, and this is really going to focus on and really depend on what your hair type is, especially the hair's porosity. If your hair is dry, damaged, color treated, frizzy prone, and generally high porosity, then you, like me, are more at risk at enduring damage while doing this. This is partly because when your hair has a higher porosity and your cuticles are kind of, we should almost go scientific Mell up in here, but I digress. As she would say, your cute tickles are raised, and essentially the shingles on your roof are not laying smooth, right? This leaves them more prone to creating friction. Friction in between your rough strands is going to lead to even more cuticle damage. It may flake off parts of your cuticle, making it even more likely for more of those cuticle cells to shed off and for more moisture to leave your hair more rapidly and leaving the contents of your hair strands, the cortex, a little bit more vulnerable. So while you may think, oh God, piling all these products on your hair can't be any good, actually, for someone like me, leaving my hair naked doesn't do my hair any good. So the solution to this would be to just make sure that you are putting at least something on your hair, using a rich enough leave-in conditioner, cream, serum of sorts that is going to help coat your strands and your cuticle. That way it may remain a cute tickle. Now the other con to this technique is, in my opinion, unnecessarily putting yourself at risk or, enduring more mechanical damage. Mechanical damage to your hair is the kind of damage that happens by excessively brushing or combing it, or maybe just pulling it in tight style. It's putting stress on your strands. Now, this is more of an issue in curly and coilier hair textures because the tighter the curl, the more kinks and turns and curves there are in the hair strand, which means two things. One, the hair is more susceptible to tangling, so you may have to do a little bit more detangling, again, for the second time, as opposed to doing it all on wash day. But also, the more combing that you're doing on tighter textures is simply doing the strands a disservice. Every curve and turn in curly and coily kinky hair especially is a weaker point in the hair strand. So it leaves it more vulnerable to more breakage the more you're brushing and having to go back in and restyling. If you're not styling with brushes, then I suppose this doesn't really apply to you. But in general, the more you're mechanically going in and working at your strands, the more wear and tear they're going to suffer from. Now, speaking of wear and tear, is not meant to scare, but your hair absorbing water is not necessarily a good thing. Highly porous hair, especially hair that is bleached, imagine it's like a sponge. Square pants. Ooh, square pants. Anyways, This hair will not only absorb water, conditioners, products faster, but it can also absorb more, which is going to cause even more swelling of the cuticle. Swelling of the cuticle, open and closed, open and closed, open and closed. Can you imagine how tired I am just doing all of that? Your strands are also tired. This is a condition called hydral fatigue. It's like it's tired of water, which is a damage that cannot really be repaired. It can be masked, that's what our products help to do, but it can ultimately create changes in your hair texture and also lead to breakage. So if you have highly porous hair, you're at an even greater risk of creating and causing hydral fatigue. But even if you're not porous, you've got smooth hair, it's not rough, it's not lacking a lot of shine, and you are repeatedly doing this, you may not see the negative impact on your hair right away, but over time you are accelerating the weathering of your hair strands, and it can eventually get you to a more damaged place. I repeat that this information is not meant to scare you, but to educate you. There is a solution to this. Of course, try not to wet your hair as often, but you can also create a barrier on your hair from the water to prevent too much water absorption. So if you have, especially if you have high porosity hair, oiling your hair, applying oils like coconut oil that have a high affinity for the hair's proteins and they can actually penetrate the strands, will prevent too much water absorption, preventing swelling, preventing, the possibility of your cuticle to flake off more, for it to become more rough because it's swollen, harder to detangle, etc., etc. The oil will kind of fill in the gaps of your hair and act as that barrier. So that is really great. But wait, I'm not done. Finally, I think the most obvious con to doing this process, besides everything I just talked about, one of the biggest cons is color fading. It's not just washing your hair with shampoo that rinses out your color. Anytime you wet your hair, you're washing away your color, especially if you're rinsing it down in the sink. And if you're spending a lot of money on getting your hair colored, your stylist has probably advised you to not wash your hair as often. That's just a given. If that wasn't a given before, now you know color-treated hair is going to be even more prone to fading the more you get it wet. Now, of course, there's solutions to this as well. There's ways that you can refresh your color at home, like I have just done with this kind of coppery situation going on. There's ways that you can continue to make your hair more vibrant, and we can talk more about color care in another video. But Danielle, the curly who coined the wash now style later, she's got a gorgeous head of red colored hair, and I mean, obviously this technique is working for her. But let's finish off by determining really who is this for, in my opinion. Yes, obviously the lazy curly girl, but it's also a way for people with energy deficiencies, disabilities, to break up their wash day and not have the burden of all of the tasks of hair care all to do in one day, in one sitting. It can be a lot. It can be a lot. And if it's going to work for you to break up your wash day, then you do you. I just wouldn't recommend you make it a habit. If worst comes to worst, desperate times call for desperate measures. You wash at night, you don't feel like styling, then just do it in the morning. You can obviously still get really gorgeous results here. I mean, these are just mine, Pat's, and Tammy's. Of course, all using the exact same product lineup, which if you want to check out, all the products will be linked in the description box below. But this technique, like all techniques out there, are going to work differently for everybody. So if you try it out, let me know in the comment section below. Let me know if you found this video helpful, and if there's other routines that you would like to see me kind of break down and review. I do hope I get to see you again soon. If you aren't already subscribed, make sure that you are, because we post weekly videos all about curl care, hair care, and more. And if you like this kind of content, make sure you give it a big old thumbs up and like. Me and my sister that worked very hard as a two-woman team to create the content on this channel, would appreciate it so much. Until next time, this has been your main girl Mel, and I am out. Peace! I don't feel like doing it right now. That was just giving a lot of Jim Carrey. Let's carry on. The cons. That was the cons dance, and I think I should do it every time I'm talking about the downfalls. Whoa. Can you stop? Please hold for the pee. Jeez. It's just my shower head. Open and closed. For interpretive dancing, you're beginning sweating. That way it may remain a cute tickle. not like a tickle attack, you know? Hey!